And now, the Mystic Hour with Mystic Black and Nick Marcus.
What is poppin', fight fans? And welcome to another episode of the Mystic Hour Live. I cannot get that intro down right, but don't worry, we'll get it right next time. Apologize for the technical difficulties before. If you see the previous video, click on this one. This is the live version. This is the full version. But we are here another week. A lot of fight news, some NBA news. We got a lot of things going on. But of course, here with my boy, Nick Marcus. You see him now. You see him over here. Hold on, I got to bring him to the forefront. There he is.
What up?
And then we got the man, the Fight Podcast, baby, in the house. My boy Serge in the building, live from California. Hey.
Yes, sir. What's going on there, brother? Thank you guys so much for having me today, man. Brother Nick, man, D, what's good with gentlemen?
We are here. We are here. We got a lot. We got so much to talk about. There's just so much to talk about in the fight world. This past weekend, we had the man, Paul Felder, step up to the plate and take on Rafael dos Anjos. He stepped in for Islam Makhachev in a lightweight battle. Paul Felder was ranked number 6 previously. Rafael dos Anjos was ranked in the welterweight class. He came back down to 155, and he looked really good. Rafael dos Anjos looked great. It was a dominant performance. There was a weird judge that scored it 48-47 for Paul Felder, which I don't understand. That judge has had a lot of weird decisions in the past. I think they should look into that because that's not good. That fight was not close, even though Paul Felder fought his heart off. Nick, I'll start with you. Do you think Dos Anjos is now a contender in the lightweight division?
I think everybody's a contender now that Khabib has retired or supposedly retired, right? I mean, like we were talking about last week, I mean, this is almost like a March Madness, what's going on in this weight division. He looked good. I didn't think Felder looked too bad. I think he actually performed pretty well, especially with, 5 days notice that he had? Yeah. I mean, I think he did well.
It really was like 3.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, but he lasted throughout the entire fight and looked good. So, I mean, Dos Anjos, I think that he's an experienced fighter, and like maybe this is gonna, he sees a vacancy there, and he wants to take chip in and take part in this expanded competition. That's really who's gonna make it to the top, who's gonna claim that belt.
Serge, let me ask you this question. Paul Felder took that fight on Monday. Of course, he only gets 3 days pretty much to make weight. There was 3 guys, I believe, on that card who either one went to the hospital, one didn't make weight. There's a lot of weight issues. Paul Felder made weight in 3 days. He had to cut almost 20 pounds in 3 days. What is going on behind the scenes with the UFC? You think they need to make some kind of a change? Do they need Burt Watson back? What do they need to make that change? They have the whole UFC PI that literally makes meals for them, and they kind of like watch them as they go. What's the issue there? Is it fighter discipline? It's something that's
where I'm going. This is not a UFC problem. As a fighter, you have 2 jobs. One is show up, and the second job is to make weight. There's no excuse. That's one of those things that if you guys have ever listened to the Fight Podcast, I'll say this time and time again.
Absolutely.
I have zero tolerance for people who miss weight. There's no excuse. There really isn't. You have 8 weeks, most of you guys, 6 to 8 weeks to figure this out, even if you have a month. Look, cutting weight sucks. I've done it before. It's not a good time. I thoroughly understand that. But at the end of the day, look, you signed the contract. That's your contract away. This is not the UFC's problem. This is the fighter's problem. That's fighter discipline. And at the end of the day, if you can't make the weight, you're not an elite fighter. That is on you.
I'm gonna agree with that, but I'm gonna give you like a little insider that I got. So from the man Burt Watson himself, he said that he always used to check on them Tuesday to see how the weight's going, Wednesday, see how the weight's going. If they don't come in Monday like close enough to that weight, they're not fighting. I feel like the UFC might be a little bit too lenient with Eric Anders, who probably came into that fight probably 210 or something like that to make 185. You're not fighting. Like there's no way. He looked so drained on that scale. I knew he was going to end up going to hospital, and I knew that fight was going to end up getting scrapped. Yep. Even Mike Perry's talking about, I'm 25 pounds over. This Monday he was talking about, I got to lose 25 pounds this week, which is nuts. Has he done it every single time and never missed weight? Absolutely, that is correct. But you want these fighters to lose weight at the correct way and not do these bloody, horrible cuts that's going to have ill effects on them as they go forward and as they grow older. And if you want longevity with these fighters in your company, you got to fix that in some capacity to make sure that they're doing this the right way. So I think they might need more people to kind of micromanage these fighters, even though that kind of sucks. But UFC is $1 billion company. You can get those people to do that and pay them to make sure they're okay, because there's too many weight cutting issues, and that's just crazy. But Nick, let me ask you, where do you think Paul Felder goes from here? Does he still stay fighting? Does he go to commentating? Do you think he has that passion like right back in him again? Because I kind of felt like he lost it a little bit. And Serge answered this question as well.
I mean, it's kind of weird. I feel like he's gonna continue in this sort of purgatory in this division where, like, you know, he's not elite enough to fight the top guys, but you know, he's good enough to be above the guys outside of the top 10. It's a weird thing, man, especially with the commentating involved, and that he does such an excellent job at it. Like it's almost like if he didn't have that other option, maybe we would, like, you know, we wouldn't really hear of him that much. But I think that he has a way out with the commentary, and you know, if he feels that his heart's not really into like the whole fighting anymore, and you know, being away from his family and everything, which I'm sure he has to be away from his family with the commentating thing as well. But you know, he doesn't have to take away time as far as training and getting ready for the fight. So it's weird. I mean, I don't want to see him retire, but at least he has another route that he can take if he does. It's just weird. Like I said, he's always been sort of like in this purgatory that like I feel like he's never really been given a fair shot, and you know, like coming in with 3 days notice, he wasn't really gonna, like, you couldn't really expect him to win this fight anyways, and he still lasted the entire time, you know.
5 rounds.
So 5 rounds. So I mean, like I think he needs to get more shots. I think he needs to get a little bit more respect towards him from the UFC as far as the opportunities that he gets in the fights. But I don't know. Let's see what happens, man. I think he's got this commentating gig that's going well, and he might just bite into that.
Serge, does Paul Felder get a higher contender, or does he still fight within Nick's word, that purgatory of the lightweight division?
Man, Paul Felder is a contender at 55. I don't see Paul Felder going anywhere. Think about this. RDA has been whooping welterweights' asses for the last, 5 years now?
5 years,
something
yeah.
like that. He's been fighting at welterweight. He moved up because he was struggling making weight. But you guys hit it on the head. The boogeyman went away. That is it. I am the bigger, stronger guy now. I'm gonna go down here. And at the end of the day, he is one of those guys. Yo, RDA is a whole legend in these streets.
That's
and
right.
People
doesn't get enough respect.
Actually does not get that respect. This dude, look, if you go ahead, Dana White even says, and I call him, like, you know how I call it for 185, I call Derek Brunson the litmus test.
Yeah.
If you can get past him, you're a legit fucking contender, right?
That's right.
Paul Felder and RDA are both in that same mold at this point in time. If you can get past those guys, that is your litmus test. Then you could possibly win a title, okay? So what does Paul Felder, what do I think he should do? Dude, yes. After you look at this fight, think about the guys that RDA has ripped through. Think about the guys that he's going out there and ripped through. 3 days notice, no training. This dude was out here riding a bike and swimming and shit, trying to do a triathlon. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was just bullshit.
Nate Diaz crap right there.
You know what I'm saying? He was, and then you can tell too, because usually Paul Felder comes there looking like a brick shit house. He was smooth like a seal in this one. He came in there looking real smooth, and he still went out there. He has the skills. This dude is legitimate. He won. I don't care what anybody says. He beat Darren Hooker. We can go back and watch the tape. And that's 2 fights in a row that I've seen that his stock does not drop. He's a badass. I want to see him. I still want to see him with somebody in the top 5.
I agree. I think, and I feel like he is a company man. He is a company man.
They're going to give him some love.
They're going to give him some love, and they're going to give him probably another main event, because if you ever think about it, have you seen a boring Paul Felder fight? Never. I've never seen a boring Paul Felder fight. So I remember one of my friends even texting me and just like, oh, Paul Felder is fighting Dos Anjos. I'm like, what? Paul Felder fighting Dos Anjos? You better get excited, because this guy does not put on boring fights. And just like Serge was saying, Dos Anjos has been through a murderous row of people. He ended up becoming that person in welterweight Usman had to beat him. Covington had to beat him. Like so many of these bigger guys had to beat him just to even get into the top 3 of the welterweight division. I'm not saying Rafael dos Anjos is going to be that in the lightweight division, but it shows you how tough he's been, the people he's fought, and the size difference too of the guys he fought at welterweight. So him coming back down now, do I love how much he has to cut weight? No, but he's walking around in a good weight. He said he was walking around in the 170s, which is good, not 190 something long time ago when he used to cut back to lightweight when he fought Tony Ferguson and he was a champion. That was just way too much. So I like what dos Anjos is. I hope Felder gets a good match, and maybe Oliveira part 2, even though he beat Oliveira before, but why not run that back? Because I feel like Oliveira is a different animal.
Charles Oliveira is the dark horse at 55. Yeah. I said it on my show, and I'm gonna say it here for you guys also. If I have any hot take, Charles Oliveira is going to be the champion at 55 by the end of 2021.
That is a hot take. That's hey, he's looked so good recently, and how he's improved within his striking, and his jiu-jitsu is. You get on the ground with him, it's game, set, wrap. Don't even try.
He has the most submissions in UFC history, and this kid's not even 30 years old.
Wow, that's true. He's not 30 years old. You know what? Give me Oliveira dos Anjos. It's crazy. Do you ever look at some fighters' ages sometimes, and they're not even 28, 29? It's the craziest thing. Sometimes not even 25.
Is not 25 yet. Sage Northcutt is it 25? I was like, I haven't heard about Sage Northcutt. I feel like for the past decade, this dude hasn't even hit 25 yet. Maybe he's old as shit.
It's wild. Speaking of younger guys, we got 2 young guys in the main event this weekend. UFC 255. Alex Perez, I believe, is 28 or 29, and he'll be taking on the champ who recently beat Joseph Benavidez twice.
Oh, it hurt my heart.
It hurt my heart so bad. Yeah. Davison Figueiredo. This is going to be a really good flyweight title fight. Originally, he was supposed to fight Cody. Oh my God, I always mix his name up because of Cody. Cody Garbrandt. He was originally supposed to fight him. Cody
Man, you
Garbrandt
got no love for Garbrandt?
No, I got so much love for him, but I always mix his name up.
We missed the pun on that one. We missed the pun.
I got it. Wait, I got the pun. I got it. No love. I got mad love for no love. But yeah, he went out with a bicep injury. Alex Perez ends up stepping in because he's been on a 3-fight winning streak. I think that was the right decision by the UFC. He beat Formiga and he finished him. Not Alex Moreno. What's his last name?
He beat Formiga. He beat my boy, a friend of the show. Shorty Torres beat the shit out of
Shorty Torres.
Boy.
Yeah, he's had a lot of good victories, and he's got a tough test in Figueiredo this Saturday. Serge, how you feeling about this matchup? Is it going to be competitive, or are we going to see Davidson just dominate somebody again?
Yo, look, man. I am excited about this fight because I do believe that Alex Perez is one of those guys. And dude, the guys from that gym, wow, why am I blanking on the dude's name? The Japanese gentleman. He used to train Rampage. He's trained so many in the Azuna's gym. I want to say.
Yeah, I know exactly. Oyama. That's right. It's Oyama.
He is an incredible teacher, and what he has done with that kid, with like that raw material, that kid is so well-rounded. He finishes Formiga with leg kicks. He goes out there and just beats the shit out of my boy Shorty Torres. And then at the end of the day, then he turns around and he also had a submission win too. The kid is extremely well-rounded. He's great on the ground. And he's a legitimate threat to the champ. But man, Davidson motherfucking Figueiredo, man. That little former hairdresser comes out there and puts the yammers on.
And sushi maker.
And sushi chef. Hey,
sushi chef.
I'm a chef. I should have gave my man his love and his respect to the chef. You know what I'm saying? He went out there. Shout out to Raekwon. But this dude goes out here, man, and you don't see guys in this weight class with one-punch knockout power. Davison Figueiredo, dude, Joseph Benavidez is arguably the second greatest flyweight of all time.
Yep.
I mean, arguably. Demetrius Johnson, Joseph Benavidez. Yep. He's that good, okay?
Henry Cejudo.
No, I'm not saying him because guess what? Somebody beat Henry Cejudo's ass, and that's
Joseph Benavidez. You're right.
So no, he's over him. So you know what I'm saying? So you got Joseph. You know what I'm saying? So he's arguably the second greatest ever, and he cut through that dude like a hot knife through butter. It was nothing. That right hand, and at first I was in the camp. I said it was the headbutt. It was a headbutt. That's why. That's why the first fight, he came in heavy, headbutt. That's why he beat Joseph Benavidez. Then he comes back out the second time and whoops his ass even worse. The dude is a monster. I really wish it was a Cody Garbrandt fight because I would have loved to see Cody Garbrandt get knocked out by that guy.
No love, huh?
I got no love for no love. I'm not gonna stunt. I'm not. Here's the thing. I think the kid is talented. I think he is. I think he gets in his own way. And I think that honestly, Team Alpha Male, I think he needs to leave Team Alpha Male and round his game out a little bit more.
He left. He went to Mark Henry, and he still goes back to Team Alpha Male sometime, but he's doing a lot of his striking with Mark Henry.
Nice.
So he's kind of more patient.
When's the last time you seen a Mark Henry fighter win a fight?
They've been kind of suspect. It's been kind of suspect, and I think Caitlin Shokagan is one of his people too. But they've been kind of suspect.
They've been looking sus over there. But I mean, who do I think I got figured out winning this fight via?
We're gonna go to predictions. We're gonna go to predictions. But Nick, before that, Alex Perez came off the contender. Alex Perez came off the contender series, and he's actually the first contender series fighter to fight for a title. Do you think he's got something to prove here for the contender series people coming off the show?
I mean, anybody that's fighting for a title has something to prove, right? I mean, you're trying to be top dog. So, but especially, I guess, given that he's coming from there, you know, he's definitely going to try to make a statement, especially with a fight as big as this against somebody like Deiveson Figueiredo. That is, I mean, just to kind of go off what Serge was saying, this guy is such a dynamic fighter, and on the fact that at that weight division that he has the type of power behind his punches that can knock you out in one hit. That's not something you see in this division, and he's just incredible. When I look at pound for pound, like I feel like almost what he brings what Adesanya brings to his weight division, right? It's just like he has strength, he has agility, he has timing. He's just an all-around dynamic fighter, and I think this is going to be really hard for Perez. So yeah, is he going to try to make a statement? Absolutely. I don't think he's going to, though.
Yeah.
You know what time it is. You know what I need, guys. You know what I need. I need those predictions, baby. I need those predictions. I know you already said it, but we got to give it officially. I'll go first. I think that this is going to be a dominant performance. There is not one place that Deiveson Figueiredo is not good at. He's a powerful striker. You try to even take him down. I know Alex Perez is a decorated wrestler. That guillotine will be locked in and loaded, and that's not a fun place to be. Deiveson Figueiredo has also put in money to his nutrition, so he's doing good on the weight wise too. So you won't see him get tired. He was 135 pounds, I believe, on Tuesday, which is good for him because usually he walks in about 145. So that's good for him. I got Deiveson. Serge, who you got?
I'm going with Deiveson, man. I know I said it already a little bit, but I'm going with it because I believe he's better everywhere. I think he's going to be he's too big, too strong. If you watch their fights, Alex, I mean, he's fast. He's not as fast as Deiveson. He's not. Deiveson is way fast. He's the scariest guy that I've ever seen in that weight class. I think Mighty Mouse is the best I've ever seen in that weight class. Deiveson is the most terrifying I've ever seen in that weight class. Somebody that small and ferocious, the dude is terrifying. So Deiveson,
Nick?
I'm going with him. Like probably late second, third round knockout.
Late second, third round. All right, Nick, who you got?
I could see that. I could see an early result for Deiveson. I think. I mean, we just been everything that we're saying. You know, we're tooting him as much as possible because he's just so great. And it's true as Serge says. Like he's a scary dude. You know, like for that division, like that's usually in that division when you see the size of these guys, you don't think scary. I mean, even though we all know that it doesn't matter what size. When you're a UFC fighter, you can kick any of our asses. But he's a scary looking guy, man. And I think his fighting and his style backs that up. So intimidation goes a long way. And I feel like that's something that he has above his fighting game.
Ooh, that's 3-0 for Deiveson. We'll see what happens on Saturday. Yep. And we got another flyweight title fight, but this is in the women's division. Valentina Shevchenko is taking on the Brazilian powerhouse Jennifer Maia.
Can we just go to picks?
I'm not. I'm not gonna lie. I've never been so. Listen, we are fight fans. We love the fight game, but I've never been so unexcited for a fight in the history of MMA. I know Jennifer Maia did what she had to do and beat Joanne Calderwood, who I didn't think would have a chance against Valentina. Anyways, she did what she had to do to become that number one contender. But
who does, right?
Man, with the odds we have here for this fight, Valentina is a minus 1667 favorite to win this fight. Mm-hmm. So if you feel like Jennifer, remember MMA is a sport. Jennifer Maia can catch her a one punch and knock her out. If you got a little $10,
chance.
You got a little $10, put it on Jennifer Maia. You never know what can happen, but is that likely to happen? Probably not. Nick, how do you see this fight going? Do you see Jennifer Maia giving Valentina any kind of a challenge anywhere in any space?
I mean, I don't want to be the one to like really talk shit and drag her down because obviously she's getting this fight for I'll leave that up to Serge. But I mean, she's getting this fight for a reason. But yeah, I just don't feel like anybody's really beating Valentina. But I mean, this is a 50-50 sport, man. Sometimes, I mean, I know obviously Vegas's numbers don't say that, but at the right time, anything can happen. I mean, look what happened with Holly Holm and Ronda Rousey. Everybody thought that Ronda Rousey was the shit. But I don't think we're going to get that. No. I'm not saying that's going to happen here. I'm just saying that a lot of people were surprised. Watch that happen. Watch. Hey, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if it happens because you know what? Apparently, I can never get all my picks correct. So there's always got to be at least one loss that I get wrong. I mean, one win that I get wrong. So, I mean, but I don't see it lasting very long. I mean, maybe at most the second round.
Serge, do what you do. I know you want to do it. You know what? Do what you got to do.
Look, man.
Buckle up, everybody. Buckle up.
Look here's the thing. Maia is a professional fighter, and she did what she had to do to get there. I'm proud of her. I think she's going to give everything that she has to put on the best performance that she can possibly put down. But real quick, what was the what was the odds? The odds
were minus 1667. For
how
Valentina
dare
favorite.
They disrespect Valentina like that? How dare they?
And Maia is
Valentina.
That's disrespectful.
It's so disrespectful. It should be so much worse than that. This fight, look at this, man. This is one of the biggest mismatches I've ever seen. Valentina's better everywhere. Valentina, in my opinion, if we're talking about female, the GOAT, essentially. Shout out to Clarissa Shields, the MMA's GOAT. I have to say that I always consider her my 1B. I have her right there with Amanda Nunes. She is that good. I don't see anybody not named Amanda Nunes beating Valentina Shevchenko, and even then, I don't see it.
I know a girl.
So tell me. I'm ready.
Oh, she's fighting on this card. It's coming. But we got to go first. Predictions. I'll go first. Bullet. I'm done. Serge, go ahead.
Pow pow.
Nick.
Valentina.
No, Valentina Shevchenko, man. Come on.
Valentina all around. I don't think there's a surprise there. If something crazy happens, guys, if Valentina Shevchenko loses that fight on Saturday, we got to come up with something to do something completely crazy. If she loses that fight, if she loses that fight,
burn this video, man. Burn all
I
the
will
evidence.
burn this video. This video will be automatically deleted.
Throw your laptop in the ocean.
Man, speaking, that sounds crazy. But speaking of crazy, we got Mike Perry, of course, fighting on this card. He originally was supposed to fight Ruthless Robbie Lawler. Crazy. Robbie Lawler went out with an injury, and now he's fighting Tim Means. I think this is going to be a low-key good fight because Mike Perry doesn't have any boring fights, and Tim Means is very game. But what I'm more worried about is Mike Perry's pregnant girlfriend being in his corner. I think she is 6 to 7 months pregnant. That girl should not be. I would never tell a man what to do with his woman, and I would never tell a woman what to do. But depending. But Mike Perry. But guys, this is very dangerous having his girlfriend in that corner. Serge, would you have your pregnant girlfriend cornering you for those media purposes or whatever?
I wouldn't have my lady cornering me at all, especially if she's not a professional fighter or is trained. I love her. She's brilliant. She really is. It's one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. Might be the smartest.
Yep.
Would I let her corner me? Fuck no. You crazy? No, you know what I'm saying? So you're going to be out there, and at the end of the day, I mean, look, I think everybody knows how I feel about Mike Perry. I think he's a racist fool. You know what I'm saying? Let's just call a spade a spade. In terms of being an exciting fighter, yes, but this is one of those fights, man, that he has an opportunity to get hurt. To me, the Dirty Bird is a nasty dude. He's an old grizzled vet who can really hurt you. And at the end of the day, having that type of high stress atmosphere with a pregnant wife right there, that's a little. I wouldn't have done it. And I think it's a bad move.
Nick, do you think that Mike Perry has his head on for this fight, even though, because the domestic violence thing came out with his ex-girlfriend Danielle? He's had a couple different people, say things about him, interviews that he's done. You think his head is on straight for this? Is it ever on straight?
I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. Is it ever on straight? I mean, this is Mike Perry. I mean, I haven't honestly before this his last fight, I hadn't even known that much about Mike Perry, and then naturally, my introduction to him, or my first impression, was not only his last fight, but the antics that came after it, and that I think it was in Fort Lauderdale, right? That he kind of went apeshit at the restaurant.
Yep.
I mean, it's kind of hard, and I hope that he got the treatment that he needed, and I hope that he took it seriously, and I hope that he's in a better place. But it just doesn't seem to me, like when I hear him speak, when I see the way that he behaves, it doesn't seem that he does have his head on straight. And to have your 7 or 8 month pregnant girlfriend there cornering you, I think that solidifies the proof that he doesn't. I mean, like you said, it's none of our business. If she wants to do it, great, that's on them. I sure as fuck wouldn't do it. It's something that I feel is outlandish, and not only that, but I think it's kind of ridiculous to use, your pregnant girlfriend as a prop, or your future child as a prop, and for whatever, because I understand, like, let's say that you're getting started in this, and you know what, you're not making as much as you thought you would, and you're struggling a bit, and you got to do with what you have, right? But I don't feel that that's necessarily the case. I feel like this is sort of a showmanship, and showmanship that can go wrong very quickly.
She should have never got certain, been accepted by the commission. The commission should
that's weird.
Stupid, yeah.
Yeah,
that is very weird. But that shows you how the Nevada State Athletic Commission is just very corrupted in a lot of things that they do. I always have a lot of issues with the way they run certain things, and even the UFC. Why are you letting that happen? Like, you don't want to see anything. I think
it's a terrible look for everybody involved. I mean, there's just so much wrong that can happen, and I mean, just going up those 3 steps, something can happen. Like just something as stupid as that.
If he gets brutally knocked out, can you imagine the stress that's going to put her through? She might have the baby right there.
Exactly, the emotional, right? Yeah, shit, exactly. So, like, I think the thing is that when you have people who don't think clearly, unfortunately, you have to make decisions for them. And I feel that UFC or the Nevada State Commission, they should have made the decision for them and not allow it. So it is rather odd. Am I surprised that Mike Perry's doing it? No, but I am surprised that these professional organizations are allowing it.
Yeah, it's very weird. I hope that Mike Perry really got that help. I know he had to get help before because he had that situation happen with that older gentleman at the restaurant. I really hope he doesn't have the alcohol issue anymore, and I hope that he's treating this current woman that he's with the utmost respect, and there's no drama or anything there. So, and kind of keep that stuff off of social media and kind of make that life private, because clearly when his life comes out in the public, it is in the media. They're asking him those questions, and it's kind of throwing him off. So, maybe keep those things more private. I've seen some fighters do it. They don't put that in the public, and they're good. They don't get asked those questions, and they can just kind of focus on their own career. So, speaking of somebody that focuses very well on their career, doesn't have any of that drama, my girl Cynthia Carvalho takes on.
You think Cynthia Carvalho could beat Valentina Shevchenko?
Takes on Katlyn Chookagian this Saturday. This is a really good fight. Katlyn Chookagian is actually coming off a loss to Jessica Andrade. That was about 3 weeks ago. That was pretty recent in Fight Island, and she jumped right into another camp, and boom, she's fighting Cynthia Carvalho, who went out with the coronavirus. She was originally supposed to fight, what is her name? Lauren Murphy, who's a big girl for that weight class, and very good. That was originally supposed to happen. So they put this fight together
real fast.
Serge, is the winner of this fight Andrade, or do they go straight to fighting for a title?
I mean, realistically, Andrade should probably get the next crack at the title.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this should be that number one contendery fight. This is the winner of this one fights Jennifer Maya off of a loss or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, or one of those up and coming, you know, somebodies. Like this is a number one contender type of fight. Cynthia Cavallo has honestly beaten pretty much everybody already in the top 5. I mean, this will be like one of the last people. She's been beating people up. I think this is a good fight for her. And but dude, Caitlin Coogan, even though she was hurt with that big body shot, Cavallo doesn't have that same type of power that Jessica Andrade pretty much has. Man, this is a good fight. This is a really good fight. This is a competitive fight, and like I said, this really does have, I'm not gonna say championship potential, but this is one of the ones that, like, you're next up. You're on deck. If you go ahead and you win this, you're on deck.
Nick, do you think that Chookagian took this fight too fast?
I mean, I feel like she kind of did. It's weird. When I saw this lineup there that she was actually going to be, I was like, damn, that was really quick. I mean, I haven't seen anybody really doing that, unless it's Hamzat, of course. But Hamzat has actually been getting the results, whereas Chookagian, she wasn't at her best last time. I mean, granted, she fought against Andrade, but I don't know, like, if necessarily, like Serge says, you know, I don't think this is somebody who's going to get the title fight next. And Andrade should be getting the title fight next. So I don't know what this leads up to. I guess we'll see what happens, but it's definitely going to be an exciting match. I mean, I hope to see some of, you know, Chookagian's, like, the performance that she laid out on Valentina's sister. You know, that's that type of performance rather than her last one. So it's going to be a good fight, and Calvillo is a great fighter as well. So I guess we'll see, man. It's one of those things that I've always admired those, because I, especially coming from a neutral standpoint, I've always admired looking at a fight and saying, you know what, this could be anybody's fight. And those are the ones that I enjoy the most, because I mean, like, look how we all felt about Shevchenko fighting Maya. I mean, that's not the fight that we want to see. Not at all.
Definitely not. I think that Chookagian is taking these fights because she's ready to start that family. Like, she's like, you know what? Let me just run all these fights out, make my money, run the contract out, and go start a family. Might as well make this money as soon as possible. She wasn't injured badly from that fight from Andrade.
No,
she got a body shot. She has a body shot. After you know, a couple minutes, you get up and just like, okay, I'm good now. It's just the impact of it. It just makes you go down, which happened to her.
It's a winnable fight. It's a winnable fight.
It's a definitely, and they keep saying this thing. Oh, it's striker versus grappler. Chookagian looked really good grappling wise against Valentina's sister, so I think she can hold her own when it comes to the ground. So that's going to be very interesting to see. Calvillo is a grappler. She's definitely one I want to take you down and dominate you there. So I think it's going to be ultra competitive. And then I think at the end of the day, and we're going to go straight into this right now, we're going to see Cynthia Calvillo, excuse me, say it correctly, beat Caitlin Chookagian, and then go on to face Valentina Shevchenko, where she will give Valentina Shevchenko the biggest run of her money since she fought Amanda Nunes, and she might even beat her, but I'm not going to give you too much of that prediction. But Serge, who you got in this fight? Who's winning this fight? Who's taking this one?
Yeah, that was aggressive, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm aggressive with my Calvillo. I'm aggressive. I
pump the brakes, bro.
She is one of those girls. She doesn't have a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. She just literally just trains all the time, and she's so focused. I love it. I love the mindset. I think she can do it. Serge, who's winning this fight?
Man, you okay. Well, I'm going to leave that one
right about.
But this fight here, okay. I'm going to say this. I think Cynthia is going to win this fight. I think she's an absolute monster. The size is not going to bother her. I think she is well-rounded enough. I think she's one of those fighters that she has that dog in her. You know what I'm saying? She's going to come forward. She's not going to give up. You're going to drag her out of there. I'm a fan of her style, and I think that she's going to be too much for Caitlin. I think she's going to just be coming downhill the entire time, and I think she's going to end up winning probably just a dominant decision.
Nick, what do you got?
I think Calvillo wins this one, and I think it goes back to what you were talking about, Chookagian, that maybe she's already looking just to get past all these fights and getting started in her next chapter in life. Obviously, we've seen that before with fighters that when they're head somewhere else, you know, they can't really perform at their best, and I think that's going to be the case this weekend as well. So Calvillo, I see her winning it.
All right, got
I say MMA. We out here on some just straight chauvinist shit, huh? We just like, yeah, she's trying to start a family, so you know what I'm saying. She ain't thinking about it.
Well, no, I mean, hey, I'm just going off his resources. Whatever it is that she wants to start a family, or she just wants to stop fighting, whatever. I've just kind of like, it always takes me back to when Paige Van Zandt was gonna fight against Amanda Ribas. Like, you knew the moment that you saw her tears and everything like that, that she, like, her head just wasn't there. You know, and so whatever it is that you're into, I'm not going to assume what it is. But if all I'm saying is that if your head's not in it, then you're not going to win that fight.
Listen, I'm definitely into Paige Van Zandt. I'll tell you one thing I'm into, that's for sure. But besides that, on the card, I just wanted to talk about I just wanted to announce the other fights on the card. We got Paul Craig taking on Mauricio Shogun Rua. That's part 2 of their fight. They fought once before. It was a draw. That's going to be a good start of that card. You know, both of those guys are going to come forward. And then in the prelims, the main event of the prelims, you got Brandon Moreno taking on Brandon Royval. That's going to be a really good fight. 2 flyweight contenders that can have a title shot right after this. So I think that's a contenders fight. We got the guy with maybe one of the best knockouts in UFC history, Joaquin Buckley taking on Jordan Wright. We're going to see if Buckley's got another one in him. Who knows? We'll see. We got Valentina's sister fighting Ariana Lipski. That's going to be really good for the flyweight division. And then, and there's some other good fights on that card as well. This is a sleeper card. I think a lot of those other fights besides the main events are going to be very, very, very good. So you guys should definitely tune in. But we definitely had some other fight announcements as well. We got one. This one, I never thought would happen again because just the way Uriah Hall's career has went, I'm just like, oh, he's just going to end up having a weird record and it's like be one of those guys who just couldn't throw. But hey, he's had a couple good wins. Weidman is back in the shuffle now too, in a way. But we got Weidman versus Uriah Hall, part 2. Nick, what kind of Weidman are we going to see? Because Weidman, as of late, has looked a little tired in certain rounds. Is this going to be a fight to where Uriah Hall is going to wait for Weidman, let him get tired, and just kind of crack him in the 3rd round? What kind of fight are we going to see here? And are you excited for this matchup?
Not necessarily. I feel like this is like the Fast and Furious franchise. You know, it's just like, dude, just let it die. Just leave it where it was. You know, and that's no disrespect to these guys. Like, I'm happy that they're back and that they're doing well and everything. But it's not necessarily something that I'm excited to see. You know, Hall obviously performed well in his last fight against Silva, but I mean, it's an aging Silva. So like, do you really have like any, you know, real good examples of leading up to this fight? I don't know what to expect. I definitely I'm not too excited. Yeah, will I tune in and watch? Absolutely, but I'm not. It's not like I'm going to clear my schedule to make sure and go out of my way to watch it when it does happen.
Serge, does Uriah Hall jump into contention for a title after he defeats a former champion? This will be his 2nd former champion that he defeated.
Man, I kind of think he does. I think he's in the conversation now. You know what I mean? He has, ever since he's moved to, Fortis MMA?
Yeah, Fortis MMA, down Texas.
Down in Texas. He's definitely turned a page in his career. He seems like he's more confident. He's fighting with a little bit more of a purpose, he seems to be, you know. And here's the thing. I know a lot of people want to, like, you know, talk about, Anderson was older, but Anderson gave the champion all he can handle. You know what I'm saying? Like, Anderson has been in there with some guys. You know, he's been given. He's one of those guys that he still has the mind and the skill to do it. It's just that his chin and his body aren't there the same way. You know what I'm saying? So he has the skill set, but he's still just tough as shit. But I think Uriah Hall is just I think he's at a different level in his career. I think he is at the point now where he is starting to finally, at 36 years old, he's starting to actually peak. And I think we might see the best Uriah Hall yet. Will he win a title in his career? I don't think so. But will he be in contention, I think? Yeah, I think he absolutely be in contention.
Yeah, for sure. It'll definitely help him. And I don't know. I'm just so weird with Weidman these days. I don't know if he's on focus. I don't know if he's taking, like, I looked at it the other day. Weidman has got KO'd a lot, man. Like, he's got KO'd by Reyes. Everybody. He got KO'd by Jacare. He got KO'd by Rockhold. He got KO'd by Musasi. That was a lot of that was a lot of KOs in a small amount of time. And I kind of felt like that slowed him down. And he's kind of scared now when he's in there. It's like, you know what? Wrestling. I'm going straight to wrestling. No, wrestling. I'm not going to do anything but wrestle, which I get it. It's your bread and butter. But Weidman was known as a guy who would try to mix it up a little bit. Look at that. He stood up with Anderson Silva in both fights. Both fights he stood up with Anderson Silva. And then all of a sudden he kept getting KO'd. And he's like, you know what? I got to go to wrestling. And it's making him tired. And you cannot fight father time. And he's getting up there in age too. Weidman is not that young of a guy. I believe Weidman is approaching to the 40s. So if he doesn't win this fight, I say, Weidman, you know what? You won the championship. You defended it. Go off into the sunset. Enjoy your family. He just moved to South Carolina. They got a big house. You got to work on that house as well. Maybe help out your Aljamains and your Al Ain Quintas when you have time. But he's got nothing else to prove. If he gets knocked out, I don't want to see him get KO'd again. So I don't know. That's gonna be an interesting matchup. But I'm definitely gonna be watching that. But this one, I am super excited for. And I think that Calvin Kattar deserved this big time because he's been putting in work. He's been fighting a lot, and he's consistently just doing a really good job, even though he had lost that fight to Zabit. But let me ask you this, Serge. Is Holloway now, is this unfortunate for featherweights? Because for them to get a title shot, they got to go through a beast like Max Holloway.
Sucks.
Is this 145? Is this the worst gatekeeper? Yep. I can't even call Max Holloway gatekeeper because I felt like he beat Alexander Volkanovski twice.
Exactly.
But
this is
twice. Not even once. Twice.
Not even once. Twice.
Max Holloway is still the best featherweight on the planet. There's nothing. Yes, and I hear a lot of people. Some people are like, he won. We gotta like give it a rest, right? I hear you. Yeah, but I think we all understand when you watch the fight, even the president, Dana went out there and said it like, he didn't win that fight. We're all rocking with Max. So everyone still feels like that. I think even Kelvin is going to go into this like this is a championship level fight. But it does suck for 45, man. It's just like if you want a title shot, you got to run through the best, one of the top 5 pound for pound guys in the sport. Good luck. And that's a great division too. That weight class is stacked.
Yeah, such a stacked division. If Kattar beats Holloway, is that a title shot, Nick? Is that straight to the title, or does he have to fight Zabit because he lost to Zabit?
I mean, I feel like I think the sense.
One more thing. Second part to that question. I apologize. If Holloway wins as well, does Holloway fight for a title? Is that you see part 3 against Volkanovski again, or does Holloway move to lightweight?
Man, it's so hard because I know that they're not going to want to give Holloway that a third title fight. As much as it makes sense, because obviously I think the consensus is that everybody felt that he won, if not twice, at least the last fight. It's going to be weird, man. I don't know exactly what's going to happen to him if he does win this fight. And as far as Calvin Kattar, like I don't necessarily think that he has to go and beat Zabit again to get that title fight because. I mean, you beat Max Holloway. He's the best. Like, he might not be the champion in that division, but he's the best in that division. Mm-hmm. And so if you could beat Holloway, then I feel like that should be your automatic golden ticket to a title fight. Now that's a big ask though for him to beat Max Holloway.
Yeah, I really feel that Holloway should. I thought after he lost Volkanovski twice. It's just so hard to get another title shot like your third time around, but. It's not a bad idea because I don't see Volkanovski being a champion that long. I think Ortega is going to give him a lot of problems, especially the Ortega that we just saw. Ortega is going to give him a lot of issues. Now that Ortega can stand up and strike, you're not going to take Ortega to the ground. Now you got to stand up with him and he's throwing spinning back elbows. That is crazy. So I kind of get Holloway for sticking around because if Ortega beats Volkanovski and Holloway beats Calvin Kattar, hey, that's a title shot for you right there. Your easy way.
You know what? Mm-hmm. Max Holloway, I mean, I really wasn't thinking about it till you said it a couple seconds ago. I mean, with Khabib gone, he can legitimately win that 55 title. Yeah. He can.
Dude, everybody's auditioning for that.
Dude, I'm just thinking about look, Max. Congratulations, Max Holloway, on his engagement. Just got engaged.
That's right. Congrats, Max. Congrats.
Congrats to the man.
Salud.
You know what I mean? So congrats to the man. But it's just like when you think about it, if he goes out there, the only reason he lost to Dustin Poirier was because Dustin was just was stronger. And you can tell he was moving him, but Max was doing Max shit, right? If Max puts on a solid 10 pounds of muscle and he can still do Max shit, Dude, he is trouble at 55.
Dangerous, very dangerous. I agree with that. Yeah, and that fight against Poirier, you can just see that Poirier was just stronger. I'm like, damn, man, if they gave Max a little bit more time for this fight, get a little bulk on him, man, and he was throwing some heavy shots at Poirier, but Poirier was eating them because they weren't coming as heavy if he had that extra muscle on him. So I definitely agree with that. But speaking of the lightweight, we finally got this a damn fight signed and official. Man, it took too long. McGregor, I don't know what was taking him forever. Nick, what do you think was taking McGregor forever? What was the drawing? What was the thing that made him not sign? By the way, McGregor Poirier official. If you guys don't see it down there.
Yeah, I don't know what was. I don't know if because like I said, like that weight division is in limbo. You know, like we don't know what's gonna happen as far as the title. We don't know if Habib is necessarily retired. We don't know if Justin Gaethje's gonna get the first title shot in that. So like it's weird. Like I guess maybe that's what he was trying to find the specifics. Maybe there's something that we don't know that he knows now that made him go ahead and put pen to paper. But yeah, I'm just happy that he finally did it. I honestly was getting concerned because even though they say, you know, like, oh, verbally they've agreed and they're getting closer and everything like that, I know nothing's official until those papers are signed. So so I'm glad to see that it's going to happen. And I don't know exactly what it was that made him drag his feet. Maybe also there were some conditions that he wanted. Maybe he wanted people in attendance. I mean, granted, not a full stadium, but a crowd nonetheless. Because that's another thing. Where did they necessarily specify where this is going to happen? Is it going to be on Fight Island? Is it going to be elsewhere?
I believe they're talking about Fight Island, but who knows with how the world is working right now with the pandemic? We have no idea. But Serge, are we going to see a more competitive fight like than we saw the first time?
Absolutely. You remember, man, I think a lot of people forget about this. One, that first fight was close to 7 years ago at this point in time. That first fight. And not only is it such a long time ago, that was also his last fight at 45 because he couldn't make the weight class anymore. He was one of those guys. So we all have seen those guys. When you're dehydrated like that, your chin is compromised. We've seen him in there with the hardest hitters in the world and knock those guys out cold. Look what he did to Justin Gaethje. Look at the shots that he's taken. Look, he just went out there and blasted out Dan Hooker, who was one of the best strikers in the game. You know what I mean? And he did it in a violent manner. He is granted, I think McGregor is awesome, but he's also not been active. MMA is one of those games that people are constantly evolving, and you have to kind of be active to get better. It's not like boxing, and that's the thing. Mayweather could take these huge blocks of time off because boxing is a game that's been here for hundreds of years. We know how it works. It does not evolve. So he was that much farther ahead. MMA is evolving by the day. It's such a new sport. Dude, 2 years ago, the calf kick wasn't a big thing. Now it's the biggest thing in the sport. You know what I'm saying? Yep. The Khabib also, the way Khabib wraps his legs around people on the ground was not a thing to Khabib. You're starting to see guys implement those things. He's not active enough. Dustin Poirier, his in that same time since their fight, has triple the fights. Think about that. He has triple the fights of McGregor. He has evolved more. He is a much better fighter than they were last time. And I'll be very honest with you, I don't see McGregor getting out of this fight with his head on.
Ooh, that's a big hot take right there. We didn't get to see enough of McGregor.
Although I gotta admit, I can't. I'm sorry. I was gonna say, although that's a bold claim, I can't really necessarily disagree with it, and it's because of everything Serge just said. You know, when you take so much time off, you might, kind of the old cliche. If you don't use it, you lose it.
You do, and remember, he wanted these seasons, dude. It's going to be a full year since he took another year. Think about how much time he's taken off in his prime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's taken too much time off, and we didn't even get to see enough of McGregor when he fought Cerrone. And I don't think the Cerrone fight was going to be competitive anyway. So it's going to be interesting to see. He seems like he's training a lot. He seems like he's in the gym. He shaved his head, even though I don't like shaved head McGregor because every time Conor McGregor shaves his head, he doesn't win. I don't know. It's a weird thing. I'm not a superstitious person, but I know I sound like one. But man, every time he shaves his head, I'm just like, oh God, man, just grow your hair out. Just have the regular crew cut. You do better in those time periods. But it's going to be interesting to see. I always like Conor McGregor at 155, especially when he's not fighting Habib. So And Dustin Poirier is not gonna. Let me take Conor down. That's not gonna happen. He's gonna stand up with him. He's gonna use that new defense and boxing that he has now because he's just so much cleaner with his boxing.
Best boxer at that weight class.
Yeah, and he's kind of more. His footwork is really, really good to see compared to how bouncy he used to be back in the day. He used to just be bouncing.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's just moving correctly. He's moving correctly. He's not wasting as much energy. He's fought in plenty of 5-round fights, so he has a cardio. So this is going to be very interesting to see if he can take that power from Conor as well. And if Conor can last 5 rounds with a guy like Poirier, who's more powerful than like a Nate Diaz. So that's going to be interesting to see.
My question is this. Conor gets hit. We've never seen Conor get tested, his chin get tested.
Mm-hmm.
I would be curious because here's the thing. Conor's shot is if he can get him out in the first round. If you can't get him out in the first round, you can cancel Christmas. He's going to go out there, and that's my thing. I really believe it's going to be really fucking difficult for that dude to go out there. Like, I think he gets knocked out, and I think we're going to see him crumple with that fight. I really do.
Wow. All right. We're gonna have predictions for that. When that fight comes up, we'll do a big show for sure. And we'll get Aldrich on here as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna get into just a little bit of boxing. We got Israel, the style bender, Adesanya. He's gonna be commentating for the Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. event that takes place next Saturday, which we will be breaking down next Thursday on the show. Nick, are you excited to see the style bender on the commentating table speaking and just putting that personality there, like giving a different side of him, even though he does that pretty much? We see his personality.
Yeah, I was going to say not really because he does annoy me from time to time. I mean, I do think he's a great fighter, but I do feel like sometimes he could be over the top. Seeing from a commentating standpoint, like, yeah, of course it's going to be exciting. You know, he's always entertaining and everything like that. Me personally, I'm not necessarily going to be tuning in just for that, if I even do tune in. But it's interesting to see him. Like, I mean, maybe he sees these guys like Felder or even what's his name, Nick Diaz. You know, like no, not Nick. Was it? I don't remember. It's Nate. No, who is it that's commentating now? Jesus Christ, he's in lightweight. Anyways, I can't remember. But nonetheless, like he's.
You're talking about Chiesa?
Chiesa. Chiesa, is it Chiesa?
Yes, maybe, perhaps. But anyways, like he sees these fighters commentating and stuff like that, and then maybe he sees his way in through here. Because I mean, although I find it weird because, like, dude, like I understand, like you're just. I feel like he's just reaching his peak, or maybe he's already at his peak and he's just plateauing there right now. But I feel like that's something you do on the downfall. But why not? If you can get some exposure and you can prove your talents there too, right now, fuck it.
That shit is brilliant.
I love it. How do you feel about this, Serge? How do you feel about Adesanya on the desk? How come the UFC has not capitalized this yet?
Well,
capitalized on this.
The UFC. Here's the thing.
Well, they might after this.
It's brilliant to do for this because, and we're talking about his peak, right? This is going to get him into a different star level. He does this. Think about the fans that are going to be tuning in to watch Mike Tyson. This is the casual Super Bowl, okay? This is the casuals are going to have a field day with this fight, right? No disrespect to any casual out there. Salute to you. I really do appreciate you. We do this for you. You know what I'm saying? But, like, this is the casual Super Bowl. So you're going to tell me that we're going to watch arguably the baddest dude on the planet watching these legends and breaking it down. It's going to elevate his platform, especially with the boxing audience, because the boxing audience is the ones that don't really know Adesanya to this point. This is going to get him into a bigger mainstream audience and the boxing audience, because here's the thing. He's a really intellectual dude, especially when it comes to the X's and O's. So the boxing guys are going to respect when he sits there and starts breaking down the boxing. I'm like, damn, he really does this. And not to mention, Adesanya has 6 professional boxing fights also. So he's been in pro boxing. He sees this. He understands the game. I think it's brilliant for him to do that. And I'm telling you, he's going to take this as an opportunity to shit on John Jones.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
We're gonna see that.
Oh,
Speaking of John Jones, sorry to go off the tangent here. I am tired, and I'm gonna say this right now. I am tired of any fighter coming at Daniel Cormier every time he says something. Listen, he is not fighting anymore. He is a retired fighter. He has the whole right to say anything he wants. He's had a legendary career. He is a for sure Hall of Famer. And after he's done, he's commentating now, and he's talking about the other fighters. Leave him alone. If he has something to say to you, John Jones, listen, John Jones, you tested positive right before you fought him. So something was happening. I know they keep saying, "Oh, it's not. He wasn't on steroids." You tested positive 2 times. That happened. So Daniel Cormier has all the right in the world to say that. Fight got canceled. He had to fight Anderson Silva on short notice. That sucks for him a lot. Who knows what would have happened at UFC 200 that time? You never know. You don't know what kind of preparation Daniel Cormier had that time around. Would he have beat him again? I don't know, but it definitely took away from that. So I hate to see fighters coming after Jan Blachowicz. Hey, Daniel Cormier, come off your fat ass, come fight me. Leave Cormier alone. He is a commentator now. Stop tempting this man. That guy can come back and whoop anybody's ass if he wants to.
Yes.
But I just had to let that go because that was driving me nuts, and I'm tired of seeing fighters come at Daniel Cormier. He doesn't deserve that. Yeah. Does not deserve that. But speaking of somebody who doesn't deserve something, who deserves everything in the world, sir, this is for you. You're the boxing man here. Terrence Crawford just beat Kell Brook pretty convincingly. He's been beating everybody pretty convincingly. What does this man have to do to get a Manny Pacquiao or that fight against Earl Spence? Does he have to leave Bob Arum and go somewhere else? And like, I don't know. You tell me, because this is getting crazy.
So look, a lot of people, especially when you listen to ESPN, right? ESPN is the biggest dick riders for anybody top ranked. All right, they just sit out there and like they're just not objective at all. So I'm gonna keep it a beam with you guys. I'm gonna tell you exactly the only reason Terrence Crawford has yet to fight any of those other big names is because of one person and one person alone. It's because of Terrence Crawford. It's his fault that he hasn't fought any of these individuals. Why is that? Everybody else is on the other side of the street. He had an opportunity in 2018 to sign with PBC. He chose to sign again with Top Rank, understanding and knowing how those other guys are on this side of the street. It's on him, and it's on him alone at this point in time. And now you have a Bob Arum who's just shitting on him in public, essentially. Not even giving a damn about him. And everyone wants to say that Errol Spence and all these other guys are ducking him. Look, Manny Pacquiao is not going to fight Terrence Crawford. Manny Pacquiao is 57 years old, and he is trying to fight Mcgregor and get a payday and go home and be the president of the Philippines. That's what his ass is trying to do, okay? He is not going to fight Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford. Now, in terms of Errol Spence, Errol Spence has a far better resume than Terrence Crawford. So here's the thing. Terrence Crawford, you can't say that you're this man, you're this and you're that, when this guy's beaten everybody in this weight class. You're the only one who hasn't fought anybody. Dog, Terrence Crawford has fought nothing but bums. Nothing but bums. Aside from Kell Brook, please, gentlemen, I'm asking you both, name somebody that you can legitimately remember of his last 5 fights.
I don't have no idea. I have no idea. Beats me.
I got one for you. Now watch this. Errol Spence. Who's the Errol Spence fought that you guys can remember?
He beat. Damn, I'm not remembering. I'm drawing blanks here. Did he beat Garcia?
I was gonna say, man.
No.
There we go. I haven't been around
Garcia.
since Butterbean. So.
He beat Mikey Garcia.
Which is a big one.
He beat Sean Porter.
Sean Porter.
Dude, he also beat Kell Brook. He knocked him out too, and that's when Kell Brook was the champion. You know what I'm saying? So we're looking at these type of things, and at the end of the day, who will he fight next?
I hope Manny. I hope Spence. I hope Pacquiao somebody, but it's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen because at the end of the day, he's not out of his contract till the spring, right?
Yeah.
So unless he is released from his contract or he goes away now, if he holds out, let's say another full year or whatever, he doesn't fight, or he pulls a Floyd Mayweather and buys his way out of his contract, which he should do. If he does that, then we'll see that fight with him and Errol Spence next. That's what will happen. Or Danny Garcia, whoever gets through that fight.
You heard it from Serge Face. First, it is Terrence Crawford's fault that he's not getting those fights. Hey, I'm glad that the UFC doesn't have these problems with, getting people together to fight. They're under one promotion, not all these other promoters, which is crazy. Boxing needs to get it together. I don't want to see this anymore. I don't want to stay away from boxing because I know they're not going to fight the best people, because every time I go on there and I see depending on what promotion.
I'm going to stop you. Boxing has never been better. Okay. And the thing that we are seeing right now, the best have been fighting the best. It's some of these old guard dudes, Terrence Crawford's on this old guard type of thing like that. They're starting to do that. But think about this. Teofimo Lopez just fought Lomachenko.
That's right.
You know
That
what
was
I'm
a big
saying?
fight. Yep.
We got Danny Garcia fighting Errol Spence. We had Deontay Wilder fight Tyson Fury, and that was a PBC top rank fight. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So
very
we're
true.
looking at this. We're getting the best fight, dude. Enson Inoue went out there, like the guys. They're great fights, and the best have been fighting the best. But we're getting these guys that are at the upper level in terms of money wise. That some of them are just, dude. Canelo Alvarez is about to fight Caleb Smith. I mean, dude, that's a ridiculous.
Shout out to Canelo Alvarez for getting out of that Bazin whatever deal that was happening over there. That's good for
he
good.
takes the fight and it's on the zone.
It's on the zone. Very, very weird, but the boxing world is always interesting to see. Guys, that was amazing. I appreciate you, Serge, for coming on. Of course, Nick, always we here every week. We will be here next Thursday to break down the Mike Tyson fight. That's going to be huge. You guys, anything you want to say before we go? Anything to say to the people?
Yeah, next Thursday is Thanksgiving.
That's right. So we're not going to be on next Thursday. I forgot.
I was going to say, dude, I forgot earlier this week. We bought the turkeys. I think 2 days ago. I was like, what the fuck?
Whoops.
Thanksgiving's next week.
So we're gonna be on before that, probably maybe a Monday or Tuesday. We'll see. We'll talk about it. Not on Thursday because Thanksgiving. So happy gobble gobble day to everybody. Kind of stay away from, do the 6 feet away at your dinner tables or whatever. However that's gonna work. But if you guys have anything to say, go ahead. Floor is yours.
Well, look, man, gentlemen, thank you so much for having me once again. I always appreciate the time. It's always a lot of fun. I love your guys' show. So like I said, salute on the interview that you had with Glover Teixeira. Amazing. If you guys haven't checked that out, please check it out. But man, thank you. And like I said, also, man, dude, happy Thanksgiving, everybody out there. Please be safe. The Rona is real. And Donald Trump, you fucking lost. You loser.
Nick, anything you want to say?
Jeez, well, how do I top that off? Christ. I mean, no, I will say this. Obviously everybody, Thanksgiving, this has been a really weird year and the Rona's still around. So please take all the precautions. And obviously we're going to have some awkward moments at the dinner table this year. So I will say this. I think it's very important, and we talked a little bit about the election results and everything in our last podcast, I think it was. And I will say this: there's obviously going to be people that think differently than you. There's going to be people who voted differently than you for whatever reason that is. Whether it's a bad reason or a good reason. But what I will advise people to do. Yeah, go ahead.
No,
what I will advise people to do.
Yeah, because I didn't get a chance to talk about this with you guys. But I do want to say one thing.
Go ahead, Nick. Go ahead. Okay. We'll go.
No, I just want to say, enlighten, don't insult, right? Because I feel like that's where we get to an impasse. I know it's easy to poke fun at other people for whatever reason, but obviously you're not going to progress in trying to convince people as to why something is wrong. If you want to enlighten them, they see I never thought of it that way. You want to open their minds. Right. And if you start with insults or you start with, calling them names or whatever, it's going to be kind of hard to get past that. I know it's not always easy doing that, but I think it's imperative that we do so. And I know that Serge is obviously, and at the same time, I don't want to say that you don't have to suppress how you feel either. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to look the other way. Definitely speak out for what you feel is right. But I'm just saying, try to be the better person in these conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Serge?
No, realistically, all jokes aside, that you said it best right there. I mean, absolutely, we need to be a more kind and compassionate place. It's unfortunate what we have divulged to as a country in terms of the literally the shit talk and everything like that, and why that essentially sells and why people really are attracted to that. I mean, look, we're this is a fight show. You know what I'm saying? Like we love fighting, shit talk and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we do need to have leadership and love and compassion absolutely needs to prevail. But I will say this: I'm not gonna shit on anybody, but it is not enough to be just to say you're not racist. You need to be anti-racist. Okay. We're not getting enough of that, and people need to understand that some of the policies and the way certain people are acting is not okay. Take the time to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, and see beyond your own neighborhood, and try to see how somebody else feels. We're all people, and it's just like I said, we need to really like err on the side of humanity, and that's the thing that am I progressive? Yes, I'm progressive in terms of my policies, but I'm progressive because at the end of the day, I want people to, our country, our planet. I want us to have, a place where we can all be, happy living together and long term. You know what I'm saying? For generations, as opposed to shit pissing out, at the end of our fucking generation. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, no, Nick, bro, you hit it on the head. Like, I'm not even gonna shit talk nobody except for Donald Trump, you fucking loser.
Spoken like a couple mayors and future governors, guys. I love it. I appreciate it.
No thanks. I like my privacy.
All right, guys. Hey, we appreciate everybody for tuning in. This is going to be on YouTube. This is going to be on Spotify. Everywhere that you can listen to a podcast, it will be there. We appreciate it. I got nothing else to say. Stay hydrated. Mystic Hour. We are out. Boom.
Later.